Hey guys, it's Mike here, and another big trailer has just dropped coming out of San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, and that is the trailer for Aquaman, the first official trailer, and this is perhaps the trailer that I've been most looking forward to and anticipating going into the San Diego Comic-Con, because, this is going to be continuing the DC Extended Universe, and continuing this franchise, which is a franchise which in many people's eyes has kind of gone downhill since Batman v Superman and Justice League. However, much of what I've heard behind the scenes from this film and during the production has been positive, and many people have said that this might be the film that'll kind of rejuvenate the entire franchise. So in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this trailer and breaking down some of the things that happen in it. So let's get into this trailer. Okay.
My father was a lighthouse keeper.
Father was a lighthouse keeper, yes. And his mother was a queen. Now, of course, what they're referencing here is that his father, who is played in this case by Tamora Morrison, who played Jango Fett in the Star Wars prequels, is a lighthouse keeper who finds Aquaman's mother, who is played by Nicole Kidman, and it appears that in this case she's injured. However, she's the queen of Atlantis, and the two of them end up actually falling in love. And then they actually end up having a child, as you could see here, who is Arthur Curry, otherwise known as Aquaman. And he will unite their bloodlines. And I guess in this case, they're going to show Arthur Curry growing up in the mainland, basically, on the Earth with the other humans. However, as we see, they said he's talking to the fish, and as you can see right here, it seems like he's pretty much able to control these sharks and all the other fish that are basically in this aquarium, which, that's his most iconic power that he's used, and it's definitely getting used early on here. Almost reminds me of Harry Potter in the first movie. And here we see Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, and it looks like he's boarding a submarine or a vessel, and he doesn't really have permission right now, does he? And of course he's beating these guys up. Warner Brothers, DC. And here is Mera, who ends up being Aquaman's wife in the comics, who is played by Amber Heard, and we did see her originally, I believe, in Justice League, so this is her reprising her role.
Looking for you. Your half-brother King Orm is about to declare war upon the surface world.
Yeah, so King Orm, as we could see right here, is played by Patrick Wilson, who we've actually seen play in previous James Wan films, such as Insidious, but also, interestingly, he's played in a DC sort of property in the past as Night Owl, so it's cool to see him once again in a comic book movie. And he looks pretty cool. And it looks like he's about to declare war on the surface world, which, perhaps that's what's going to be the main driving force of this film, in which we see Aquaman, who is between two worlds, trying to kind of combat this coming war between the surface and the underwater world of Atlantis.
The only way to stop this war is for you to take your rightful place as king.
Yeah, so it seems like that's basically what they're talking about right there. And we even see that I guess this is basically their attack on the surface world right here. And this may be Dolph Lundgren's character right here, but not entirely sure. He's no king, so yeah, so maybe this is going to also be him kind of coming to terms with the fact that he is the true king of Atlantis, and that's going to be his arc in this film. And here we see them underwater, another cool underwater scene. And, wow, here's Atlantis. It's cool, you can see all the underwater ships and the different things. It almost kind of reminds me a little bit of the Gungan city from Phantom Menace, although I'm not too sure if that's a parallel I really want to draw here. Here's kind of an arena, I guess you could say. It looks like there's going to be combat between multiple Atlantean warriors taking place. And it looks like here we're seeing that perhaps this is where their big fight's going to go down, in which Aquaman is going to be fighting Ocean Master for the throne of Atlantis. So that should be cool to see. And of course the crowd's going crazy over everything. Well, it's some awesome action, guys. Now, I'm not sure if the scene is actually taking place underwater. There are sections of Atlantis, at least in the comics and cartoons, that aren't entirely submerged in water, you know, where they can basically walk out of the water and speak in, like, air bubbles. But it's also possible that this was built down near, like, a basic vent in the ocean, you know, where lava flows. And they're fighting for the throne. And Aquaman's gonna give him an ass whooping. This December, and we see him kind of doing like a Superman type feat, in which we see him actually lifting a submarine out of the water, which might be the same submarine that we see right here that he boards and attacks people on it. So maybe they're invading the area of Atlantis that he is kind of watching over at this point. Or maybe he's just trying to protect the ocean. And here he is, it looks like here he is as a teenager, you know, they're doing a split between this particular shot, and then we see him catching Trident right here. So maybe this is him training to become a warrior, and perhaps this could be kind of like Wonder Woman, where somebody from Atlantis is helping him out on the surface. We even see them training a little bit right here as well. Yeah, and there's a relationship between them. And here we see his mother again, once again with the father.
I think you're unworthy to lead because you're of two different worlds.
He's unworthy to lead.
Exactly why you are worthy.
But again, like I said, he is worthy to lead because he is the person who can unite the surface and the underwater realm. So I feel like that's probably going to be his character arc in this film. There's some really big shots we're getting right here with, you know, once again, the underwater. And here, I believe, is our first shot of Black Manta. And from what I've seen so far, I'm really liking his suit. And here is different underwater species who, I'm not too sure what race this is supposed to be or what people, but it's probably another kingdom that exists underwater that probably has some relations with the Atlanteans. Here we see a battle, the sharks. Okay, here we go. Once again, Black Manta, and look at this. Look at his suit. It looks like something straight out of the comics and the cartoons. So this is something that's really cool, and something that is making me, again, a little more excited about this film. He's been shooting the lasers out while Aquaman's trying to escape. Bring the Wrath of the Seven Seas, these giant underwater battles. It looks like there's like a giant catapult over here that is flinging lava at this legion of perhaps sharks and giant seahorses and underwater creatures. Obviously, there's going to be some giant battles going down in this film, so it's being very epic, much like a fantasy film, almost like Lord of the Rings or something. We even see the sharks and in the alligators. And that is Aquaman. Okay, and that is the Aquaman trailer. So, really interesting. Like I said, to kind of sum it up, you know, in the beginning we see that this is basically how Aquaman comes into being as his parents meet one fateful day as his mother, I guess, is injured and washed up on the shore next to the lighthouse where Tamora Morrison is watching over it. That leads to his birth, which of course also leads to him, you know, as a kid right here, in which he is, I guess, either discovering his powers for the first time or is exposed for using them perhaps at some point. I'm not too sure how they're gonna, I guess, cover this up. You know, maybe they'll just make it go away like Clark Kent's family did in the Man of Steel. I feel like it might go in chronological order, so we're probably gonna see that, and then we're gonna see Jason Momoa actually as Aquaman. Now, maybe he visits Atlantis at some point in the past, and that's why Mera shows up right here saying that she's been looking for him. Obviously, the two of them know one another, so we're gonna have to see how that plays out. In the focal struggle of the film, seems like it's really gonna be between Arthur Curry, or Aquaman, who is coming now back down to Atlantis, and his brother Ocean Master, who feels that he is the one who deserves to be king, whereas I guess you could say the true king in Aquaman is coming back to reclaim his throne, although he is someone who is kind of a reluctant king. He's somebody who doesn't necessarily believes that he should have that throne, so that seems like that's going to be his general arc going by this trailer. And of course, we're also going to see a relationship between he and Mera during the film as well. And then of course, there's going to be Black Manta involved in the mix, who might be someone who was hired by the Ocean Master in order to take out his brothers. So yeah, just looking at this, like I said before, just this alone is making me really interested in the film. But overall, going by this trailer and going by everything that we're seeing, I definitely have to say that I'm looking forward to this movie. It is coming out in December, which is an interesting release date to say the least. But I feel like this is definitely showing positive signs so far. So what do you guys think of the Aquaman trailer? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're new to this channel, then make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out. And if you like this video, then make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.